With almost 70 operators in the game right now, and all of them having their own unique guns and gadgets and secondary gadgets, it will be kind of hard to tell which role you want to fulfill. Every playstyle can work in this game, so in this video, I'm going to help you decide which role is right for you. But first, we need to talk about what roles are there in Siege, and what's the difference between attackers and defenders. There are different roles for each side. Mainly on the attacker side, there are supports, there are flex, and there are entry fraggers that the attackers can use. While the support and flex role can also apply to defenders, they're slightly different, because now there's anchors, soft anchors, and full-on roamers. I'm going to start with the entry fraggers on the attacker side, because a lot of people get the idea wrong about entry fragging. At the end of the video, I'll give the best operatives for each role, so stay around for that. The common operatives you see usually entry fragging would be 3 speeds, so top of my head would be Ashe, IQ, maybe Capito, definitely not Grim. If you play games like Valorant or CSGO or Apex Legends, this role should be very familiar to you. The job of an entry fragger in Siege is to take the most map control. This is why usually there are 3 speeds that are considered to be entry fraggers, because usually they have at least decent guns and they are very fast compared to 2 speeds and 3 armors. Take Ashe for example. She has the R4C assault rifle that has a very fast fire rate, and especially with the extended barrel change, she comes with a lot of damage. She is a 3 speed. But also note, usually with entry fraggers, they typically have weaker gadgets. Especially for the case for IQ and Ashe, their gadgets are not really that useful, in most scenarios at least. Ashe comes with the breaching rounds, and IQ comes with a scanner that can detect electronics. Now, in the case for Ashe, you can just bring Sophia and she brings more utility. And that's why I consider Sophia to be a support operator, because Sophia gun is a little bit weaker than Ashe's, but comes with a way stronger gadget. Intel is key for Siege even for the entry fraggers. So what typically happens is the support players, that being Thermite, Thatcher, or any other support operator, usually are droning them in while they get ground. What I mean by people play this role wrong sometimes is usually because it's an FPS game, they run straight into side, maybe get 1 or 2 kills and then die. And then because it's a video game, they blame their teammates. But that's not really how it works. Like I said, the support players usually drone you in, and let's take Coastline for example. They're going kitchen, you want to take top floor. You're going to go through VIP, and you're probably going to breach the wall, so therefore the support players are going to drone into VIP, and either there's going to be a person in there, or there's going to be clear. The entry fraggers are usually the first ones to go in. Therefore, you have done part of your job, you have gained map control. However, if there is someone there, then it's going to be the entry fraggers that go in first, because their gadgets are weaker, unlike the supports or even flex operators, so if they die, then it doesn't really matter. Remember, because your gadget is weaker compared to support players, doesn't mean your gadget is completely useless. You'll know when to use it when the time comes. The entry frag role is technically easy because you're just playing Call of Duty, but because of how Siege works, it's not as simple as some may think, and that's why this game is considered to be complicated for newer players. But trust me, once you get to play the role a little bit, you'll learn that it's not that hard. For newer players, the support role may be the easiest role for you to learn, but there are some things you have to know when playing this role. Like for starters, because you're support doesn't mean you always have to get the wall despite what other people may think. If you're playing as Thermite, Ace, or Hibana, then yes, you're obviously going to have to get the wall. Included with a Thatcher or someone of EMP impacts, it's a no-brainer. But before you can even get to the wall, you may have to help your entry fraggers with your most important tool, drones. One of the most important things that these support players can do is help the entry fraggers by droning. Information is key, so letting the entry fraggers know where the defenders are if they're there at all is very helpful for them. But as a support player, you may not only have to get the wall or help the entry fraggers, you may have to pop a Goyo Vulcan, you may have to pop a shield, you may have to clear ADSs with your secondary gadgets, and most importantly, your primary gadgets will certainly help you with that. And as a support player, you could quite literally in a ranked game go 0-9, but because you play Thermite, Ace, or Thatcher, you are arguably the most important player in the entire match. But I will admit, some of these support operators have really good guns. So once you get your actual job done, whether, like I said, Goyo Vulcan, shield, getting the wall, helping get the wall, then you can start fragging out. But remember, some of these weapons have slower fire rates, but really good damage. So keep an eye out for that. Also, don't get spawn picked. Look out for them, for the love of God. Truth be told, the flex role is an easy role to learn as well because it's a combination of entry fragger and support players. AKA, you can frag out while still helping your team. That's basically what a flex role is. Now you see all the flank watch operators fulfill this role, that being Zero, Nomad, and Gridlock. Now, I want you to take everything from the entry fraggers and the support operators and kind of combine them and think about these set operators. You can help get the wall, you can help clear the shield, you can help entry fragging, basically, if your entry fraggers die. These are some of the best operators in the game currently, so abuse them all you can. Like I've said, the support and flex operators can also apply to the defenders, but now we have a few more roles we need to talk about. There's anchor, soft anchor, and roamers. Let's start with anchor because they are the easiest to learn. What do the anchors do? They anchor on site. They never leave the site, and that's pretty much it. That's all you have to learn about anchors. Now, their gadgets complement the fact that they have to stay on site. Like Maestro, for example, he comes with 2 evil eyes, and he has to actively be using his cameras to get any use out of them. Or like Doc, he pretty much has to stay on site for his roamers to come back so he can heal them up. Or even the shallow roamers, or the soft anchors to heal them up. Pretty easy to play Doc. But what are these soft anchors that I'm talking about? And for some of you experienced Siege players, you probably never even heard of it. Well, that's the term I like to use. Operators that stay near site. And I'm talking about smoke on blue bunker, like that close to site. Some operator I can think of at the top of my head would be Jaeger and Smoke. But to make the anchors' jobs easier, there has to be some type of roamers. Jaeger can also fulfill this role, but what a roamer is someone who stays completely off-site and potentially far away from site. And a shallow roamer is kind of similar to a soft anchor, and they stay somewhat near site, but not as close as what a soft anchor would be. Similar to the entry frag role, people get this idea wrong. Unlike the entry fraggers where they kind of have to get kills, a roamer does not have to get a single kill at all because their main use is to delay as much time as they humanly can. And you have to remember, you're a defender now. Time is on your side and time is against the attackers. So with this role, it's arguably one of the most important things to a defender roster. Some operators that I think can successfully fulfill this role would be Vigil and Solus. The reason why I named those 2 operators specifically is because Vigil can hide from drones, and they are more than likely going to drone you out, so you need to be ready from that. And Solus can just straight up detect attackers on their drones or drones themselves. For you Call of Duty players, most of the operators at least have somewhat decent guns, except Cav. Vigil comes with the K1A, which is a fast fire rate AR that has a lot of damage now, especially with the extended barrel change. And Solus has Mira Shotgun, which is okay. But she also comes with the SMG-11, and we all know that's one of the best guns in the game, in my opinion, my favorite gun. You may be wondering why I kind of lumped all these roles together, because for the defender's case, specifically for defenders, all roles kind of go hand in hand together. One role cannot work without the other, so you need to remember that. As a roamer, you need to help your anchors by distracting the attackers away from the site. If and when the roamers die, the anchors are going to have to fight, and thankfully, they usually come with at least halfway decent guns, especially Maestro. He comes with the Alda 5.56, which is one of the most busted guns that Siege has ever seen. That's pretty much every important role that you need to know about. And like I said in the beginning, I'm going to give you some of my top picks for each role. Starting with the entry fraggers, I would personally run Ash if you strictly want to entry frag. In terms of straight up support, then Ace, Thermite, Hibana, and Thatcher are your best picks. If you want a truly good flex operator, I recommend Zero, Nomad, Bug, and I guess you could say Gridlock. Moving on for the defenders, in terms of anchors, I would highly recommend Maestro and Mira, strictly for their gadgets alone, and Maestro comes with the Alda 5.56. In terms of soft anchors, Jaeger and Smoke are not bad options at all. And now finally, for the roamer role, I would highly recommend Vigil and Solus, strictly because they can straight up counter drones. And I suppose that's it for this video. If you're interested in any operator that I've talked about in this video, I have more than likely made a video on them so far, and I've covered almost every operator, which is almost 70, may I add. And so I have more than likely covered the one you're interested in. I'm Creator Tony, I hope you have a good day or good night, and if you like what I make, I appreciate it if you subscribe and share some of my videos with your friends. And with all that being said, goodbye.